All right, hey everybody, Ham Solo here, Kilo Zero, Foxtrot Yankee Romeo. It has been fairly cold and snowy lately, and so I actually came down into Colorado Springs from up on the mountains area over here because it is freezing over there, and wanted to do a video to describe some stuff and didn't want to have to wear gloves or have my hand shaking so bad, and so I've come down into the springs. Colorado Springs. This is probably upper 30s down here, and the wind is been pretty raunchy over the last couple days, so you may see, you know, some of the branches moving. I mean, we're getting like 40-mile-an-hour gusts down here, but wanted to talk a little bit about fox hunting. I tried to do fox hunting with trying to find hidden transmitters using antennas and different techniques and so forth. And so I tried that for the very first time last year. I want to say it was probably summertime. And I didn't know how to do it. I wasn't sure if I had the right equipment. And so I kind of just went out to a local fox hunt here in Colorado Springs and had a horrible time at it. And so it wasn't that it wasn't fun, it was just that I didn't know what I was doing, and so I had quite the difficulty with trying to do it. I had a radio, and I want to say that I was probably using my Anytone 878 at the time, and I had that hooked up with standard BNC coax and an adapter going to a Yagi antenna. And so I did have a Yagi antenna like this one. Let's see if I can get that out here in the shot. And so it's a 3-element Yagi. The back element here towards my fingers, this is going to be the reflector element. The element in the center right here, this is going to be the actual directed element, the one that's fed by the antenna cord cable to the radio. This is a gamma match, and so that helps to basically tune it or get it down to 50 ohms so the radio can like it. And then the primary, or the director, first director here, all of this stuff, when you have a Yagi antenna, basically increases your radio signal. It adds gain to the direction of the lobe coming off of your antenna. And so where a standard vertical antenna, where it's the signal is going to come off of it and kind of look like a donut, and so signal coming off of a vertical is going to look like this. So it's going to go omnidirectional in all directions signal. With a Yagi system, Yagi antenna like this, you're going to get forward gain pointing off the front end, and instead of being a basically a circular lobe around the antenna, it's going to have one area that's just a real big strong direction in any given direction that you're pointing the Yagi at. And so usually what you do when you're trying to find a hidden signal or transmitter or something like that is you would use that gain and you would point that antenna towards where you hear the strongest signal. And so you hear the strongest signal in that direction, you walk in that direction to go try to find the fox. The problem is that after a while, the signal will be so strong that you'll see it in all directions. So it won't matter where you spin the Yagi antenna, you'll basically see signal going in a circle all the way around you, because the transmitter is close enough that basically you're just getting overridden with signal everywhere in every direction. And so usually what you try to do is you can shield the radio with your body, and so if you're standing there, you could use the center of your body to shield the antenna. If you're using a Yagi, you don't really have that choice. It's very hard to shield that Yagi because there's lobes that come off the sides, there's lobes that come off the back, and so it's not quite the same when you're doing that. And so you can try to tune up to a second harmonic. So let's say that you're on 146.520, you can multiply that by 2, and you could try to tune your radio to 283 megahertz. You can try a third harmonic, where you tune the radio up times 3, and so 146.52, and then you can tune it up times 3 into the 400 megahertz region. That will help somewhat, but eventually you're still going to see signal all the way around you. And so on that first fox hunt, that's what was happening. And so I couldn't find anything. Basically, by the time, you know, I got close enough to it where I might have even potentially even been in the same block of area, the signal was everywhere and I couldn't pinpoint it. And so that was my very first fox hunting experience. Last week, this is March, about the 3rd week of March, last week I went to my second ever fox hunt. I had contacted a fellow named Ben, and his call sign is AB2SG. He has a website called foxhunt.info, and he is a member of the Pikes Peak Radio Amateur Association, which I am also a member, and he puts on occasional fox hunts every, you know, couple weeks, every month or so. And the intent is to get people into fox hunting, how to do it. And so I contacted him after going to one of our normal monthly meetings, and I knew that they were getting ready to have a fox hunt. And so I said, hey man, do you mind if I come out? I may not be in the run for whatever the contest is, but I want to learn how to do fox hunting, because I had such a bad experience the first time as far as trying to do it myself. And so he said, yeah, come on out, you know, I'll walk you through, I'll tell you everything that I possibly can about how to do fox hunting. And so I went out to the park, met him and his family at the park, and we started going to it. And so we took the what he called the gentle walking trail, and he had put out some 15 milliwatt transmitters. And so I went and started to learn how to do it with my Yagi. Actually, I borrowed his Yagi because I forgot mine. I had to have a radio that had a signal strength meter, and so I took my Alinco DJ VX50, and when you look at the screen and you get transmissions, see if I can find one.
KB0, baby, yeah.
So you can see the signal strength bar down there on the bottom, so it's full strength. That's the Mountain Amateur Radio Club repeater. And so you get that signal bar that goes across the bottom, and that'll let you know, am I close, am I far away, is the signal strong, is it weak? And so you need a radio that kind of has that indicator on it. And so I use the Yagi, I use the radio like that with a signal indicator, and then he let me borrow what's called an attenuator. And so since then I purchased my own. This one is the Fox Hunt Offset Attenuator version 7, and that is by KC9ON. And so what you do is basically, if you had a tape measure Yagi made with PVC, you could put the pipe right through there. I probably will end up using Velcro and Velcroing this to the Yagi itself. And so I'll probably have it Velcroed somewhere, you know, on the stem of the antenna like this, and then wires will come out of the back, coax connectors. One will go to that gamma match, the other one will go to the radio itself. And what a offset attenuator does is it has a oscillator, a local oscillator, and it adds a tone to the received signal. And so again, if the box was located on 146.52, for example, it would add a local oscillation tone to that of 4 megahertz, and you tune your radio either up or down 4 megahertz. So at 146.52, you would tune it down to 142.52 or up to 150.52, and then you would use this knob to add or subtract attenuation. And what that will do is that will basically tamp down the signal so that you can try to locate something that might have a really powerful transmitter. And so before, where I was swinging around in a circle and I was hearing it everywhere, I would tune offset 4 megahertz up or down, and then I would use that knob to add basically your subtracting signal, and I would add power to that would reduce the signal so that I could go, okay, it's no longer all the way around, it's only in this direction, and then I could keep going closer towards where the fox is. And the more that you turn that knob for attenuation, the more that you're decreasing the strength of the signal, so you can locate it better. That's kind of the idea. So he let me borrow one of those. We started out, and we actually found 4 of the foxes, all on 15 milliwatts, that were within the area of where they had set up the gentle walking trail. And so, of course, with his help, Ben, AB2SG, I was able to use both a Yagi and an attenuator and the signal strength bar on my radio in order to kind of zoom in on where those foxes were, and then I just had to kind of look around once I got close enough. He also let me borrow another type of antenna that is basically it's a loop antenna, a null loop antenna. And so I unfortunately forgot to bring it with me while I was making this. So basically what I do with that is I would take off this antenna, and then I would put on this loop, and this is just going to be for a graphic display. So I'd put this loop on that has a BNC connector, and now the radio is going to function like a directional finder. And so if I have the antenna like this in line, I'm going to get signal. If the fox was, let's say where this tree is right here beside me, if that was the fox, as I'm swinging this loop around, I'm getting signal, but once I become perpendicular to it, like this, it would be a dead spot. That would be a null. And so I know the fox is exactly in that direction, or 180 degrees in this direction. And so using that loop where you're turning it around, you get signal, and then you get a null. Okay, it's either that way or it's this way. And then you walk off 20 feet in a different direction, let's say perpendicular to this, and you do the same thing. And you turn your loop around until you find the other null, and where those two nulls meet, that's probably where the transmitter is. And so we did that on a couple of them, and we were able to, I walked like right directly to the transmitter itself. There it is, you know, because I had a null going this way, I had a null going that way, they intersected right where that tree was, fox is right there. That's how you find it. And so all of that was new to me. I did not know a lot of those things when I started out trying to do it. I've tried to now get some things that are going to help me out. You know, I do have my Yagi. I did have that. I just forgot to bring it. I do have my radio with my signal strength meter. I now have my first attenuator. And again, this is the Fox Hunt offset attenuator version 7 from KC90N. I don't remember the cost off the top of my head. It was like maybe 30 bucks. I have another one that's coming from QRP guys that I will have to assemble. It's a kit attenuator, and it'll add upwards of I think 30 dB of attenuation. I don't remember how much this one is. This might be 80 dB, so I'll have to look that up. What I thought I was going to do was I was going to get a scanner, and then I would use the scanner to attach to the attenuator and the antenna. And then that way I wouldn't have to worry about burning out my attenuator by accidentally transmitting into it. And so I went online to eBay and found a couple of sites that were doing sales of scanners. And so I bid on this one. I won it for like $18. And I get it and I start messing with it. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to program it and put in the channels and all this. It does not have a signal strength meter. So unlike my Alinco here, that you can see the signal strength bar, there is no signal strength bar on this scanner. And so that was kind of a waste. I'll probably end up putting that on eBay or Amazon or something like that and sell that, and maybe try to find an actual scanner that has a signal strength meter. But right now, that's what I have. So I have the Alinco radio, I've got the Yagi, I have my first attenuator, the second one should be coming, and I'll piece that one together. And the only other thing would be my loop antenna that Ben AB2SG gave me after the last fox hunt. And him and his, I think his 10 or 11-year-old daughter helped him make them. And so they made them, and then they were giving them out to people that they were helping with learn how to use the foxes. And so hopefully either him or the Pikes Peak Radio Amateur Association will be doing another fox hunt within the next month or two. When I have time, I will try to attend and then use all this stuff and show you if you know, how to actually find the foxes. So I haven't recorded those last two. The first one I did last summer where I failed horribly, and then the last one that happened last week, just simply because I didn't know if it was going to work or not, and I didn't feel you know, confident filming all of that to find out if I was going to be able to do it or not. It actually, I got worn out last week where I had walked for miles and miles and miles and had found one of the far hike foxes, and I was worn out. I mean, it was real rocky, and it was whatever. I ended up having to call those guys back in the parking lot and have somebody go pick me up, and I was a couple miles from where we were, out in the middle of this park area, and I had to get them to come and pick me up and off of the highway to bring me back over to the parking lot, you know, because I was like, man, if I walk anymore, my damn knees are gonna fall off. And so the only other thing that I wanted to show you was eventually I want to start doing fox hunts for my own radio club, and so in order to do that, I have to build a fox. And so I have a couple spare Baofengs, and I think I can get them down to 1 watt, maybe a little less than a watt to transmit. And then what I plan on doing is using an Arduino computer board and making it become the fox. And so I would program it and put all the little wires and all that kind of stuff in, and I would make it transmit CW signal, identifying, you know, with my call sign or whatever. And so I went online, I think this was Amazon, and I bought what's called the Most Complete Starter Kit Mega Project, and this is a big Arduino kit, and I think there's something like 250 different projects or whatever that you could do with this kit with all the parts in it, and the Morcerino board, the Arduino board. And so going through those projects, basically I would end up learning how to do Arduino so that I could create an Arduino board that would run the Fox transmitter on CW. And that's kind of the idea behind that. So that'll be something else that I plan on doing in order later on to, if we want to do fox hunts during our summer camp fest or field day or what have you. I would be able to have that programmed in, you know, set a fox or two out using those Arduinos so they could sit there and run a fox hunt myself. And so that's kind of the plan. Just wanted to give you an overview of what I had been doing as far as the fox hunt type stuff. And from there, hopefully the next time I get a fox hunt chance, I will be able to set all this up, and we'll go looking for a fox together. So until then, this is Ham Solo K0FYR 73.